A year ago, GameStop stock wasn't on anyone's radar, trading at about $4 a share. This week, it hit $380 a share, fueling one of the wildest frenzies Wall Street has ever seen. So how did this happen? Well, back in April 2020, Dr. Michael Burry, the hedge fund manager famous for shorting subprime mortgages, also played by Christian Bale in The Big Short, he and his fund Scion Asset Management disclosed it bought 5.3% of GameStop at between $2 and $4.20 a share. In total, they spent about $15 million. Burry's play was to urge GameStop to use its cash to buy back its own stock, which would potentially retire about half its shares outstanding. In a letter to GameStop's board, he called for the company to exhaust its $300 million buyback authorization. Things in 2020 were not looking great for GameStop anyways. The company had lost more than $280 million in the first 9 months, and wasn't expected to turn a profit until 2023. And like what Netflix did to Blockbuster Video, the ability for people to download games directly to their consoles meant that there was much less of a need to visit a GameStop in person. The pandemic just added more holes to the sinking ship. Investors saw the writing on the wall and bet against GameStop, and some notable ones bet the stock would fall further and began a process known as short selling. Basically, you borrow shares of stock from a big institutional investor for a small fee, sell the shares at the current market price, and then wait for the price to fall. Once the price of the target stock falls low enough, you buy back the shares, return them to the lender, then pocket the difference. But this GameStop Vulture Patrol did not sit well with one group of investors. They were the anonymous members on Reddit's Wall Street Bets. Even before Dr. Burry had bought into GameStop, some members felt the stock was undervalued. They eventually rallied the forum to buy the stock en masse in an effort to boost the share price. Investors piled on, using call options to goose their returns. Elon Musk got in on the action, posting a cryptic tweet referring to Wall Street Bets. And Silicon Valley billionaire investor Chamath Palihapitiya put money down as well, then tweeted about it, and noted the greater social phenomenon at play on CNBC.
I think that what you're seeing is essentially a pushback against the establishment in a really important way. For a lot of people who believe that, coming out of 2008, what happened was Wall Street took an enormous amount of risk. And a lot of these kids were in grade school and high school when that happened. They lost their homes, their parents lost their jobs. And they've always wondered, why did those folks get bailed out for taking enormous amounts of risk and nobody helped and showed up to help my family?
This battle between Main Street Redditors and Wall Street hedge funds has fueled a 1,555% increase in GameStop shares over the past month. It also made GameStop investor Ryan Cohen, the founder and former CEO of pet e-commerce firm Chewy, a billionaire, at least for now. He had spent about $76 million buying up more than 9 million GameStop shares at the end of 2020 in an effort to restructure the company. This also got him 3 seats on the GameStop board earlier this month. No one really knows how the GameStop saga will end. Even the investment app Robinhood restricted buying of GameStop stock on January 28th, as well as other heavily shorted stocks, such as AMC and BlackBerry. But even Dr. Burry, who arguably instigated this whole thing, says this squeeze is, quote, unnatural, insane, and dangerous. But according to securities filings reviewed by Forbes, it appears Dr. Burry may have sold off at least some and maybe all of his GameStop position before the fun really began. But if he had kept all of the 3.4 million shares he purchased for $15 million, it would be worth over $1 billion as of the closing price on January 27th.